What if I told you that every time you try to impress someone, you lose a piece of your power? That the hunger for approval, the subtle need to be liked, praised, validated, is quietly shaping your decisions, your personality, even your dreams. Imagine a puppeteer you cannot see, pulling invisible strings every time you hesitate before posting, overthink a text message, or say yes when your soul is screaming no. Most people spend their entire lives chasing applause from an audience that isn't even paying attention. And here's the uncomfortable truth. The more desperately you seek respect, the less of it you receive. But over 2,000 years ago, a group of thinkers discovered a brutal, liberating secret. Real respect and real peace come the moment you stop begging for them. Picture a young man in ancient Rome, desperate to climb the social ladder. He studies the way powerful men speak. He laughs at jokes he doesn't find funny. He flatters, he nods, he conforms. He becomes a mirror reflecting everyone else's expectations. That man could have been anyone. Instead, history remembers a different kind of Roman, Marcus Aurelius. The most powerful man in the world at the time, yet his private journal, what we now call Meditations, reveals something shocking. He constantly reminded himself not to care about praise, not to be disturbed by criticism, not to be intoxicated by approval. Why? Because he understood something we are only beginning to grasp. When you need validation, you hand control of your emotional state to strangers. The Stoics believe that there are only two categories in life, what you can control and what you cannot. Your actions, your values, your effort, within your control. Other people's opinions, completely outside it. Yet most of us reverse this. We obsess over what we can't control and neglect what we can. Epictetus, born a slave, taught that if you desire things outside your control, you will always be a slave, no matter your status. Think about that. You can have followers, money, influence, and still be enslaved by the fear of disapproval. Approval is addictive. It feels good. A compliment gives you a hit of dopamine. A like on your post reassures you that you matter. But like any addiction, it builds tolerance. Yesterday's praise is today's baseline. Soon, silence feels like rejection, and criticism feels like annihilation. So you adjust. You edit your personality. You soften your opinions. You shrink your authenticity. Not because you're weak, but because you're human. The Stoic method isn't about becoming cold or indifferent. It's about becoming internally anchored. Imagine walking into a room and not scanning faces to see who approves of you. Imagine speaking your truth without mentally calculating how it will land. That is power. Seneca wrote that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. How many sleepless nights have you spent replaying conversations, worrying about what someone thinks of you? The Stoics would ask, does their opinion change your character? Does it alter your integrity? If not, why grant it authority over your peace? Here's the Stoic method in practice. First, define your values clearly. Not society's, not your parents', yours. When your behavior aligns with your principles, you no longer need applause, you become your own witness. Second, rehearse criticism. Yes, rehearse it. The Stoics practiced negative visualization, imagining loss, rejection, misunderstanding, so that when it came, it felt familiar, not devastating. If someone insults you, ask, is it true? If it is, improve. If it isn't, ignore. Either way, you win. Third, detach from outcomes. Do the work. Say the honest thing. Show up fully. Then release the result. Respect earned this way is solid because it is a byproduct, not a pursuit. Right now, if this is resonating with you, if you've ever felt trapped by the need to be liked, take a second and hit the like button. Not for me, but as a small declaration that you're choosing self-respect over approval. Let me tell you a story. A student once asked a Stoic teacher how to gain respect from others. The teacher replied, "Stop trying." Confused, the student pressed on. The teacher explained, when you chase respect, you signal that you lack it for yourself. When you live according to your principles, some will dislike you, some will misunderstand you, but the right people will recognize your steadiness. That's the paradox. Approval is fickle. Respect is quiet. Approval demands performance. Respect observes consistency. When you stop chasing approval, something strange happens. You become harder to manipulate. Flattery no longer seduces you. Criticism no longer controls you. You begin to act from intention, not reaction, and people feel that. There is a calmness in someone who does not need anything from you. That calmness commands more respect than any attempt to impress ever could. So the next time you're about to dilute your opinion to avoid conflict, pause. Ask yourself, am I protecting peace, or am I protecting my image? The Stoic chooses inner peace over outer applause every time. Because applause fades, crowds shift, trends die, but character endures. At the end of your life, you won't measure it by how many people approved of you. You will measure it by how honestly you lived. So stop chasing approval. Start building character. If this message challenged you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more ideas that strengthen your mind. Turn on the notifications bell so you don't miss the next lesson. And in the comments, tell me one area of your life where you're choosing principle over popularity. Your peace begins the moment you decide that your worth is not up for vote.